This is Dr. Manny from Break the Cage MD. And Imani. So, concept, this one's easy. Curiosity is the instrument of power. Curiosity begets interest, and interest holds attention. I gotta mute this TV because there's like 8 remotes in the house. I don't understand. Okay, so let me try that again. And most of these remotes don't work. Okay, I haven't given up yet. Fantastic. I got it. All right, ready? Start again. So, the core concept is the concept of curiosity is the mechanism of power. Okay? So, curiosity is a specific emotion. It's the emotion that allows you to focus your attention. And when you focus attention, that's the bridge between energy and information. And I can explain that at some point later. That part's a little more complex. So, when a person loses interest in something, they get bored and they dissociate. The second you dissociate, you go into autopilot. Autopilot by default are the scripts that the culture, parenting, and other forms of behavior modification have um, kind of implanted in your thought process. So you think of dissociation, and boredom actually is associated with mental illness. Most people aren't aware of that. But you think of dissociation as the point along the continuum at which you fail to manage the emotion. You either become disinterested and dissociate, or you become emotionally overwhelmed with something and you dissociate. You can tell when someone's going to dissociate usually by their choice of language because they stop, um, they use evaluative concrete language. No, evaluative abstract language. Sorry about that. Um, that's also a more complex concept than I can explain right now. But it's called slanting. Um, when you're having conversation with someone and suddenly, instead of having actual categorizing words that make sense and that you can actually follow logically, they start using words like good, bad, idiot, or just stuff that's evaluative but doesn't have a specific categorical value. I'm gonna have to figure out how to simplify that. But anyway, you lose power either by dissociating because you're overwhelmed, or by dissociating because you're bored. That's the continuum. You keep power by making sure you're able to understand the context, and it's called transcontextual thinking. When you can take the metaphors in your brain from one domain to another and recognize how the context changes the way in which you have to apply the model. I swear I'll make that one simpler soon enough. Um, the last bit, and this is neurogeeky, but the attention, I think it's a combination of attention, acetylcholine, and I want to say serotonin, that there's a paper about the quantum neurodynamics of uh, attention. And you can quite literally, by when you're paying attention, something comes into awareness, into conscious awareness, and you're able to interpret the signal. By interpreting the signal, you're able to make inferences. Um, the model for that is perceptual control theory. And the way that connects to all the illnesses and stuff is in perceptual control theory. It's the mechanism. It's related to identity theory, and I swear there's like a chapter about that in the fourth week of my course because by then you have the scaffolding in place to understand it. I promise. Um, in perceptual control theory, when a person is in a context in which they're not able to make meaning, the information is not able to jump from your propositional working memory, which is words and kind of concrete, just running your mouth but not understanding the meaning, to implicational working memory. Implicational working memory is the other part of your working memory. That's the one that themes, metaphors, and meaning live in. That's where your narratives, your stories, the things in your life, the models that matter live there. When you're not able to make that jump, you end up with a spike in cortisol. And since the brain is the lead driver of all metabolic systems, followed by the liver. There's an article called The Selfish Brain that explains uh, how when the brain perceives social stress, the whole rest of the body goes into this cholesterol, hypercortisol state. Well, you know it as fight, flight. Um, that's connected to the model of polyvagal theory, which explains how the is it 10th or 11th? I did a video about this, about polyvagal theory. You can check on hypnoticthoughts.com for that. But um, the vagus nerve, which is parasympathetic functioning, uh, gets deactivated. I think it stops firing during when the cortisol level hits a certain point. Another effect is that same cortisol cascade causes your prefrontal cortex to shut down and results in amygdala hijack. If you check Break the Cage MD, there's a video about amygdala hijack as well, and how people go from conscious to subconscious functioning. Uh, Craig and I did a CC and I did a video at Mindful 360 about grip functioning, which is also when your brain goes into voluntary core value driven cognition to script based automated behaviors. It's where you lose agency essentially. So that's the whole model. Well, not the whole model, parts of it. So that's the mechanism through which curiosity and interest uh, combined with the ability to manage your emotions so that it doesn't override you, result in maintaining power. There's one more piece actually I just thought of. So most of the data shows or implies that social power is mediated by two factors. You have your cortisol level and your testosterone level. In social aggression, you have an elevation in your testosterone level. If your cortisol level also goes up, I think I bored the baby awake. If your cortisol level also goes up, when your cortisol level hits that specific point, uh, because of your inability to make meaning in the context, because someone else is forcing their meaning on you, that's the point at which that's the point of resignation. That's the point of social defeat. That's when aggression and stuff kicks in, because once again, you're managing emotions instead of managing categorical meaning making. It's the point at which reality no longer matches what you need your models to match in order to function and be able to predict things. And so you have an inflammatory response. I'm going to have to simplify that last part. Break the cage, MD.